Hey guys, welcome back to Sabers Forever. I'm John, and today we're going to be going over two lightsabers. That's right, not just one, two. One of them's right here. This is a 89 Sabers DV6. Unfortunately, I don't have a 7/8 blade, so I can't really demo it like this. But this one, this is an OWK4. And the cool thing is both of these have Goth Master chassis in them. So, I don't know about you, but I am definitely chomping at the bit to just show these off. So without further ado, why don't we just jump right in and I'll show you what's going on. Alright, so double saber reveal, first one on the channel. This is a family group video, I guess you could say. So these are both going to the same person, and all the parts were supplied. It was a pretty easy job, and I'm really grateful to have been able to install both of these, and I guess I'm just going to go over the general functionality and how to access everything. This is going to be far less complex than this one, so I'm going to do this first real quick, but essentially this saber goes into deep sleep mode, and all you have to do to activate it is hold one of the switches. But the bottom for both sabers, so this button and this button, are both the power buttons, and this, the top buttons, are the auxiliary. And these are both sporting Crystal Focus X soundboards, which sadly I am not as familiar with them as I thought I was. So thankfully the customer is, and he's got no problem setting up the rest of the sabers, but everything works. He's just going to take care of, fine-tuning the colors to exactly what he wants, and maybe some, volume or swing sensitivity or clash sensitivity or the blade ignition speed. But apart from that, all I did was make sure that everything worked the right way. So this guy opens just at the bottom. A lot of threads. And then you have access to your crystal chamber, and if you slide this up, you get access to your SD card and your micro USB on the Crystal Focus X. These Neopixels in here are set up on the LS2 line, so whenever the update comes that these can be programmed to pulse or act like regular accents LEDs, then this will be able to be programmed to have like a pulse effect while the blade is off. Unfortunately, I had a lot of issues with the firmware and the config files and everything, that I actually did have these wired up with regular 5mm RGB LEDs, but they just did not want to cooperate. And so I just did it with Neopixels, and I know in the near future Irv will be coming out with the update to be able to program this accordingly. 2.1mm recharge port, and this chassis, oh, I didn't tighten it, was originally loose, just like this, and I added in a set screw right here, which I forgot to tighten. And that stops the chassis from being pulled out. So this saber is going to be shipped out just like this, and yeah, that covers this saber. This has a whole bunch of fonts on here. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of font selection and color changing and such, but that's this saber. So now we can move on to the OWK4. This is locked. So the emitter is locked to the thin neck, the wind vane is locked to the thin neck, and the thin neck is locked to the grenade section. So, and then obviously this all is one piece, but it's still on threads from the pommel and the lower section above the pommel. I wouldn't even know what to call this. But This unthreads to reveal the chassis, and then the chassis literally just pulls out completely like this.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
But yeah, all the Neopixels are working here. These Neopixels are on the same line as the crystal, which is LS2, and the crystal comes first. So you'll notice the crystal turns on and then this scrolls down, and then same as when it turns off, it scrolls up, and then this dims. So crystal lights first, and then these light up. And you can separate those later on the actual config file. But this is sporting the really tiny 10 on each side Neopixels, the 2020. And then this is the stock NPXL V3. It has a 18650 3.7 volt lithium ion battery, 2 tactile switches, an OLED screen, high amp kill switch, 28mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker. This just comes right off. Which I would like to say, there's actually only magnets here and here. So this doesn't even have anything that holds it in. Like if I do this, it just comes right off. The inside of the Saber actually holds everything together. But you can see here you have access to your CFX. So, and then you can get access to your SD card just right there. The Saber is tight. It's great, you know, so you can just put this back in, line up your switches with the activation buttons right here. And then here's the only part that I don't like is when you put the pommel on, you don't know if the inside rotates. And while you could hold the power button or auxiliary to keep the chassis in place, I think that puts unnecessary strain on the actual switches on the inside, which is why I left the pommel loose. This has even more threads. But there's this little indentation right here that you want to line up. It's part of the chassis design, but line it up with these switches in case, you know, this ever rotates, which it actually didn't. It went in great. But you can always check it that way. And then now the Saber will just operate accordingly. And you can even see the crystal in there, which is really cool. And this also came with a number of Obi-Wan sound fonts, but it would just take too much time to show everything off. So that being said, I'm going to send this saber out just like this. And that pretty much does it for these sabers. Alright guys, that does it for this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe. There's going to be plenty more videos just like this in the future showing off some really awesome builds. If you yourself also have a lightsaber that you'd like to have installed, please reach out at John, J-O-N, at sabersforever.com. Quotes are free. I get back to you real quick, and if I can help you out, I'd be more than willing to do so. So please definitely reach out. That being said, I'll see you on the next one, and as always, may the Force be with you.